All right, once you have signed into the Chromebook, I want you to close the Chromebook, put it on your book rack. We will need this computer. I just wanted you logged in, so when we use it in class, you don't have to log in. It's just ready to go. So put that on your book rack, then I want you to turn over here to your first part of your chart, where it says Hamilton's Financial Plan. Where we want to go toward. All right, so move over to that chart right here. If anybody needs to give me some money, all right, if anybody needs to give me money, we'll take money, but we'll do that at midway or end of class, okay? All right. I go. Ubuntu I am.
Because you are.
Anything in life worthwhile?
It's worth overdoing.
When given the choice, we will always choose.
The world less travel.
We do this,
Not because it's easy.
but we do this.
Because it's hard.
Very good.
She messed up on that down.
You messed up. Why do we fall down? So we can get back up. You do better next time. All right. Here's what I want to do. Come on and stay with me. I remember we're going to co-teach today. Miss Richard's going to come up here in just 1 minute. A couple minutes, and she's going to work with us and lead through some stuff. So I want to set us up kind of to that point. So if you'll come up here to the board and write this for step 1. Yes, sir? I'll get you one right now. But where it says step 1 on the back, I want you to write this down. Now, we saw yesterday that when Washington took over, he had some challenges. Somebody raise your hand. Let me call on you now. Raise your hand and tell me a challenge that George Washington had taken over. Miss Frost.
I will raise my hand for that. I need the paper.
Were you here yesterday? I ain't going to knock you out. Okay. Richard, tell me a challenge that, and you're done with Chromebook, you can close it. Everybody listen up to Richard. Tell me a challenge that Washington faced coming in being first president.
We were in that.
France is wanting their money back, and we haven't got any money to give them. Very good. What was another challenge Washington faced? Put your hand up. Talk to us, son. Tell us something. Do what? Well, he wasn't young when he became president. You know, he was kind of at the end of, he was coming up there, he was in his 50s, late 50s. But thinking about him being the first president, tell us something. Tell me a reason. Think about yesterday when we talked about those challenges of doing something the first time. What's the challenge of doing something the first time?
I forgot what he asked.
Talk to him a little bit.
Feel like you can't mess up.
If you mess up, what might people say to you? Yeah, well, see, we told you so. See, we should have just stayed with England. We shouldn't have replaced the Articles of Confederation. What are you doing? I mean, people are going to look at you like, see, we shouldn't have done this. There's going to be a lot of criticism. Washington feels like all eyes are on him. He also knows for future generations down the road, people are going to do a lot of the things he did. So when people start referring to him as Your Excellency, even though he liked the attention, he doesn't want the president to be known as a supreme leader, to be a common man. So Washington's got a lot of challenges. But that debt issue is his biggest challenge, y'all, and he's got to figure out a way to solve it. Here's another great thing about a leader, all right, and I'm going to come back to you right here. So remember we were saying a leader yesterday, and I was telling you, Quantellis, and everybody that you can always judge a leader by how they deal with what they don't know. What does a good leader do about the stuff he doesn't know is not good at? How does he deal with that? Yeah, maybe even how Washington did it, or like me. You go and make good friends with people that are good at that thing. Absolutely, very good. And that's what Washington did. He knew the biggest problem was the economy. Is the phone ringing? Yeah, it was a Hamilton poster right there. And then the $10 bill with Hamilton on it.
Oh, the $10 bill.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about Hamilton today. What I'm gonna do for everybody to leave is hand you everybody's gonna get a $10 bill today. And for your homework, I want you to, no, nobody giving you money. All right, but come back to me. Come back to me for a minute. But he knew the biggest issue. Turn those blue pants around.
He said he'll make me
A girl.
Yeah.
He's got ties on stand up.
He's got on pantyhose.
Yeah, but they're really tight.
Stand up.
And we got paid.
It was bending over right there, and I turned around and I thought it was a girl.
Oh.
And then he still. Yeah. Bring him up to the
We're not gonna go there. I'll go. So Washington knows his biggest challenge is the economy. He's not good at it, so he brings in a good buddy of his that's good at the economy. All right, and it's a guy named Alexander Hamilton. Hamilton comes up with 5 steps that's going to solve the nation's money issue. Here's what we're going to see today. The steps that Hamilton comes up with do solve the financial problem, but they create a lot of tension and conflict. And we're going to see what happens today with that. So let's start out with steps here. Number 1 is we got to pay back debt that we owe to France. And Hamilton suggests the only way to do that is to tax imported goods or products. And this particular kind of tax is called a tariff. We need to remember that. We need to circle that word because we're going to be talking about tariffs for a good bit here. And I want you to do this. If everybody will be on the back of that page and close the Chromebook and be on the back of that chart right there. So we don't need Chromebook right now. We'll need it in just a minute. But a T-A-R-I-F-F, a tariff. And so Hamilton says we make a lot of money. We can do 2 things. The government can make money on imported goods from Europe. Because remember, we're buying a lot of stuff from Europe. We're a young country. Why are we buying a lot of stuff from Europe? Why don't we just make it? Go. Well, we had been dependent on it for a long time. Go ahead, Fortino. We don't have it yet. We don't have the businesses set up. We don't have the stuff. We're still dependent on Europe, particularly England. So Hamilton says we make money because we'll tax all those things coming in. That's why foreign luxury cars cost more than domestic luxury cars. Well, it used to. It's kind of changing now. Our prices have gone up here on cars. But that's why you generally think of foreign cars like Audi, BMW, Mercedes being more expensive here because they're made, the transmissions and bodies are made in Europe and Germany. They're sent here, imported to America, and assembled here. And so we generally put taxes on different things. So we make money. What's the benefit, though, of taxing foreign products when they come into America? How does that also benefit America? Forget the money piece. What does that cause to happen in our own country? If we're making foreign products cost more. Do what? Then some people might say, I'm not going to buy that foreign product. I'm going to buy this American product. Even though this American product right now might be a little cheaper and not as well made, I'm going to save some money and buy American, and it's going to cause American companies to start building up. So step 1 was about getting money, but also encouraging American companies to step up and grow. All right, that's step 1 of the plan. All right, give me a fist of 5 on step 1. Five means I got it, I can tell the class. 0 means I need help and don't get it. Okay? All right. So tax on imported goods, and it makes American companies grow. All right, let's go to number 2 right here. Number 2 is a relatively important one, and it was about state debts. Okay, so I'm gonna put up a term, and we're gonna look at it. But this was called the assumption of state debts. Now, during the American Revolution, the federal government borrowed a lot of money, but so did the individual states. In total, there was about $75 million borrowed between the federal government and the state governments. I think the state governments had about 11 million total. But we were borrowing money left and right during the war. All right, we've done that during our 2 wars now. So wars are expensive, and you have to usually borrow money to pay for them. What would be the only other way to pay for a war if you decided not to borrow the money? Tax. It's the only way that you can get money primarily as a government is the tax. You either tax or borrow money. So we were borrowing money like crazy when we were fighting England. And we really weren't thinking about the end of the war in our war with England. Why? We wanted to win, and we didn't really think we were going to win. So it's like we were just thinking about the here and now. We borrow all this money trying to win the war. The war ends. We win, and now France comes calling and says, I want some money back. We don't have it. Number two, Hamilton suggests the federal government take all of the individual state governments and just forgive them and say, your state doesn't have to pay it back. It's now going to belong to the federal government. Okay? Take all that money up and let the federal government pay it back. Now this made some states happy, it made some states mad. Alright? What if everybody in this room ended up owing me $5 for the state fair trip? Y'all don't, but let's pretend. I said everybody's got to pay me $5 to go. What if half of y'all paid me the $5? Then after that I came up and said, you know what? I'm going to pay for the state fair. If you haven't paid your money, don't worry about it. Half of the class would feel happy. They'd say, whew, this is awesome. I'm not bringing in money. But the other half would say, what a jerk. Where's my money? I paid mine. I deserve to get my money back. That is what the federal government does right here with these state debts. Thank you very much. Tell her I said thank you for doing that. Thank you, Karen. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Karen. Exactly what I mean. One of the states that had not paid or had paid back our debt was North Carolina. Listen to me. North Carolina has paid back. I'm going to knock the blue off you right now. You're going to have a blue eye in a minute, black and blue eye in a minute when I'm done with you. But North Carolina had paid back our state debt, but a lot of northern states had not. So we get very upset, but the northern states are like, we just got out of some millions of dollars having to pay back. Why would Hamilton want the federal government, President and Congress, to take on all this responsibility? If you owe money to somebody, you're connected to them. How? You're going to keep in contact because you got that relationship where, you know, people are owing you money, right? And also, if you give money to somebody, then you're going to want it back, or you want that person to be successful so they can get you your money back, right? Think about if you loan money to somebody, and that person says, hey, I'm going to get paid Friday, and I'm going to get you back. You want that person to get paid, because them getting paid means you getting paid. So it's like Hamilton's being tricky right here, and I want y'all to catch this, so make sure you stay with me on this point. Hamilton's being tricky. He realizes if the government gets all this debt, it's going to make the states be like connected to the federal government. If the federal government collapses and they've taken all this money from the state, then it's going to hurt the states. So he's being very tricky right here on step 2, is trying to connect everybody through money. And I promise you there's one thing that'll connect you, money. And sometimes you can't get away from people because they owe you money. And you never want to see them again in your life, but you're still connected to them because they owe you money. So Hamilton's tricky. He knows that this will keep everybody connected. You ready for step 3? Here we go, step 3. So we got a tax. We got some money floating around right here. We just need a way to keep all this money. Now, if you got a call, a message later on today that was from your parents and said, listen, I want to just congratulate you, son, daughter. You have just won the $100 million Powerball. We have got 5 briefcases full of money for you, cash, in your bedroom at home. Here's my question. You wouldn't want to leave that money there long. Raise your hand and tell me why you would want to get that money out of your bedroom quick. What, T? Well, they'd be taking your money, right? Somebody get your money. What else?
People gonna be begging.
Begging. All your cousins gonna come get your money. Go.
I'm ready to spend it.
You ready to spend it. You want it in that account. You can't carry 4 briefcases around with you. You're also a target. If you got briefcases full of cash, Your history teacher's gonna come put a gun in your face and take it, right? I'm gonna come rob you. You're gonna be a target. People are gonna come after you. Go ahead, everybody listen to T. Go. See what? Well, you're gonna pay a significant amount of taxes. Yeah, absolutely. That's gonna be a big deal. Here's my point, though. You're not safe if you keep all that money in your living room. So you're probably going to go somewhere and invest it, or go to a bank and put it in a bank. And that way somebody can come to your home, your cousin wanting to borrow money, and they come to your house and you say, look, I don't have any money. It's all in the bank and I'm not writing a check. Right? I'm going to get it. And you can then be a lot safer if it's in the bank. So having a lot of money is good to put in a bank so you can manage it. Think about it. Our government, by taking up all these state debts and taxing people, for the first time in our history, our government was floating around all this money. And it was all this money out there. Let me give you an analogy to what happens when a lot of money is being circulated, like in an organization or something. Somebody said one time, when you got a lot of money out there and a lot of people are handling it, it's like having a bucket full of water, all the way to the top full of water, and trying to walk across a field and carry that bucket full of water. You're going to get to the other side and the bucket's going to have water in it. But on the way, you're going to lose some water because it's just going to spill out. And that's what happens when there's a lot of money. You start to lose it. It's funny how money can just disappear, right? Especially when there's a lot of it. It can just start quickly disappearing. It's going in somebody's pocket. So Hamilton knows if we start dealing with all this money and taxing people and doing all this stuff, we've got to put it in a bank or it's all just going to disappear and get lost. So here's what Hamilton suggests. Hamilton suggests that the government, the U.S. government, creates a government-owned bank. Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? It's a good idea. I'm going to tell you, it's a good idea, but a lot of people don't like it, and here's why. Let's start with the first critic of it. You know this guy. You become friends with him. I'm going to abbreviate his name. TJ. Thomas Jefferson. I'm talking about him. He almost has a mini heart attack when he hears about this, because he has a belief called enumerated, an enumerated belief of the Constitution. So I want you to write that down beside TJ. And here's what TJ believes. Let's look over here at what I've written on the board. We're about to figure out why this causes so much violence. Take a look at what I've written right here. The purpose of a Constitution is to maintain a written set of laws that provide a framework for government power and protect the rights of the people. That's why we have a Constitution. That's what it was. We talked about it in Unit 2. They wrote our Constitution. It's a list of the laws our government can do. It puts limits on the power of our government. Why do we want to limit the power of our government? If they get too powerful, they gain rights and we lose rights. So our Constitution says exactly what our government can do, but it also lists what they cannot do. And if they do something that's not in there, we know that we better check them because they're violating the Constitution. But I want you to think about this for a minute. Are there instances when the government should gain special powers in order to produce public good? Are there times when the government should get special powers that are not in the Constitution if it means doing good for the society?
Yes. I think so.
And there really might be. So let's think about this for a minute. Jefferson says the bank probably would help, but you can't create it. It is wrong. Here's what Jefferson says. The Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, said nothing at all about a bank. So in other words, Jefferson says this is illegal. Because the Constitution doesn't refer to a bank, the government cannot create a bank. If the Founding Fathers had wanted us to have a government bank, they would have written in there, Congress can create a government bank. What are some other things Congress can do? Remember we looked at the Constitution and read some stuff? They make the laws. They decide what the laws are. They decide the money They declare a war if there's a war. There's a lot of stuff Congress can do. But Article 1 doesn't say anything about Congress can create a national bank, and Jefferson's flipping out over it. Go.
Did you say they cannot create a bank?
Say that, well, you're on to the point I'm getting ready to hit right now, right? So Jefferson said it cannot create it, it's not in there. Hamilton comes back with what you just said. So let's put up our buddy Hamilton right here, AH. And Hamilton believes in something called implied powers. And here's what Hamilton refers to. He refers to something in the Constitution called the necessary and proper clause. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at this handout I gave you. And I want you to look at Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18. I want you to read that and raise your hand when you can tell me why Hamilton believed Article 1, Clause 18 gave him the power to create a bank. Read that and figure out why it gave him the power. Implied.
No.
Necessary proper clause.
Clause.
Yep. CLA. Read Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18 on the handout I gave you, and tell me why this gives Hamilton the power, he says, to create a bank. Read that top part. When you feel like you got an explanation, raise your hand. Okay. So nowhere in the Constitution did it say the word bank. But Hamilton says we can still create it because, why is that?
So that's why in the first sentence that the Congress has the power to make all laws which are necessary, proper, procuring, the execution and foregoing powers. And all
So in Hamilton's mind, the bank is necessary. Why could Hamilton make the argument that creating this bank was necessary to our government's survival? Raise your hand. Why would Hamilton probably make that argument? What would he say?
Mr. Parker,
Yes, ma'am.
do you have Hannah Tucker?
Yes, ma'am.
Please send her guidance to
Okay.
me for just a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
In other words, Hamilton would say, if we don't create this bank, blank, blank, blank will happen. What would Hamilton say would probably happen if we don't create the bank? Talk to me over here. Okay. Money would be lost. What else would happen?
Downfall.
Downfall. Why would the government be downfall? Would there be a downfall?
They pay back the France.
Yeah. There comes a point when you loan money to somebody and, half a year's gone by. You stop calling them and you show up at somebody's house, right? Go.
You think probably they ain't pay their money back, it probably been like another war or something?
Well, I think there could have been a big, I don't necessarily know if it had been a war, but it definitely would have been some conflict and violence in France. It might have escalated to a war, because here's what y'all don't know. We're going to see this first of the week. France is getting ready at this exact time. We're trying to create a bank and Hamilton's doing his thing. France is over in Europe, and they're getting ready to start their own revolution. And this is something we'll see first of the week. Our revolution inspired all these other revolutions against kings around the world. And in 1792, the people in France, it blows up. They have this massive war against their king, King Louis XVI. By the time it's over, they will have beheaded the king. They will have beheaded his wife. They will have beheaded all of his 8 children. So it's about to get crazy over in France. And then, when that happens, the King of England gets freaked out. Why? What's happened in his lifetime in the past 20 years? The King of England. He lost the American colonies and they were fed up with him. And now his next door neighbor and his cousin, the French king, has been killed. And he starts looking at this thing and says, we got to do something about this. I might be next. So England declares war on France to put the monarchy back, and this massive war breaks out through Europe. So France says, we don't have time to wait. We need our money back. And I don't want to pick on some people right here because I'm a doodler too. and this is, I don't know why this happens. It's so interesting. I could write a research paper on how minds work. But every year, I don't know why when I made this, what was wrong with me to give y'all a coloring book. But every year people doodle. I gotta change this handout. People doodle and draw. I don't know why I did it. But there's about 12 people that are doodling right now. I'm a doodler. I'm not making fun of you, but don't doodle. Pause. I'm almost done. This room's about to come up. Give me literally 3 minutes of your attention left. Let me see your eyes. So, France needs the money. They need the money, and we got to pay it back. So Hamilton's making the argument that if we don't create the bank, France is going to come back trying to get their money, war will start, and the government might fall, and we might be taken over. So in his mind, in Hamilton's mind, that's necessary. Because if we don't do it, the government might be taken over by the French. So we got two big arguments right here, all right, between what's necessary. Hamilton thinks it is, but Jefferson doesn't. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to call on you. What's necessary for your life to continue? Give me something, Tyler. Water. Okay. Trees. Oxygen. Take in CO2. I'm going to be honest with you. This is necessary for my life to continue. Because if it was not for this thing, and this is sad, but if I didn't use this to communicate and organize my life, I couldn't do my job. I might get fired. I couldn't get money, and then I'd be on the street and my life would be over.
That's just like that commercial.
What are you talking about?
Like when like this happened then, this gonna happen then, that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now, obviously, I'm stretching things right here, but you can make an argument that anything's necessary, right? So when the founders put in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18, they were kind of opening the doorway for laws to get passed that may not be necessary. And it happened. A lot of laws got passed that were good, like this bank. But a lot of laws over our history got passed that were maybe not so good. So what is necessary? It changes depending on who you ask. And that's going to be a problem right here. Jefferson says, no, it's not necessary. Hamilton says, yes, it is. We got this massive fight that breaks out. And by the time we get to Monday, you're going to see that over this issue, Hamilton's going to get murdered. Dang. The guy that's on the $10 bill gets shot. And this is going to cause a massive blow up in the government. I can't say that till Monday. All right, here's what I want you to do. I got to tell this story, man. I want to tell you like the most crazy story that breaks out, and I want to tell you Monday. You gotta wait till Monday. All right.
Why not tomorrow?
Because I can't tell everything on the same day. I gotta get you built up. This is a story. I mean, you gotta know these things, all right? I will remember. All right. Here's what we want to do. We're going to come back and look at steps 4 and 5, definitely by the end of class. But what I want to do right now is to have Miss Ritter come up, and I want her to give you some instructions of some things you're going to do. Let's do a class. Okay? What I want you to do is to take out your Chromebook. She's going to give you some instructions. And I'm going to come around and give you headphones if you need them. So I'm going to walk by if you need them. Just kind of hold your hand out. I'll give you headphones. Yes.
Oh, take Chromebook out.
Yeah, bring your Chromebook out. Miss Ritter's going to give you some instructions.
I need an You got a pair anymore?
Yeah. It's gonna be wet.
Never moved. It's just black.
You come to school tomorrow. No? You do it. I heard what you said. You look at my
They start. Don't snap. You gotta start working. Grab I got Okay, so I need you guys to go to educated.com and sign up for a student account. Yeah, you can just. And once you're signed in, click on Add Class and type in this code right here. And once everybody is added in the third period, click done, and then, hold on for a second, so I can explain. Is everybody logged in?
Yeah.
No? Yes? Yes, no? Okay. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna watch this video that's about the beginnings of the political parties in America. The video is John Green, which he wrote The Fault in Our Stars. I don't know if y'all seen that movie or.
I cried.
You cried. He wrote it, so, it's very, I think he's kind of funny, so if y'all like.
Very sarcastic.
Yeah, very sarcastic. And what you have right here that I passed out to you is a chart just to help you compare and contrast the two political parties. You do not have to fill this out while you're watching the video because I know it gets kind of stressful, like trying to write and listen at the same time. So if you want to wait until you're done with the video to fill it out, that's fine. Or you can pause the video while you're watching it so you can fill it in. There's not really a set answer. I mean, there's a right answer, but I don't care how you do it. When I did it, I put symbols in because I just like symbols better. So for party leaders, Alexander Hamilton's going to go in this first block. I drew a $10 bill because he's on $10 bill, and I can remember that better. So you're just going to have your headphones in. The video is about 7 minutes. You'll have questions to answer throughout the video to help so you can go through it. But they're not hard, and they're just kind of to make sure that you're understanding what you're listening to, okay? And so we'll probably do until 11:55-ish, so everybody can get done, and then we'll start on our next activity, okay? And raise your hand if you have any questions about the technology or if it's not working, okay? Yeah, I'm go ahead and start.
Been up.
They're all.
Got to get out of there. They got to get out of there. All right.
Did I get all the headphones? They have ours. Still got some. Gotta turn these back You stretching?
You see me?
Hey, stop talking to me.
Okay, all good? Did y'all get all this? Mr. Parker, right now?
Yes.
Yep, I see it.
So what we're about to do now is we're going to look at the necessary and proper clause again. So I'm going to just refresh my memory. What is the necessary and proper clause? What does it do? In your own words. Raise your hand. What? Opens the doors to new laws. Is it written? Is it written in the Constitution? So what is it? What kind of power is it? Somebody said it. Implied? Okay. So I'm going to put you guys into groups in a minute, and we're going to look at different cases where the necessary and proper clause was used to approve a court case that's not written in the Constitution. So what I'm going to do, we'll put you in groups of 6. I need 1 to 2 people reading the court case. It's very short, very brief. I need 1 to 2 people reading the constitutional information. And then I need a group leader to make sure that everybody stays on task, okay? And we have 6 topics that are out there. There's gun control, they're all around here. Actually, so you got gun control, public safety laws, government seizure of land, the national bank or government-owned bank, healthcare, and production limits or quotas. So we're gonna go out into the hallway, and I'm gonna give you the information. I want you guys to work as a group to come up with a constitutional question that is being answered or not answered in this case. So for this group, for gun control, they asked if gun control should be limited. And then I want your group to give a summary of the case, very brief, so the people that read the court case are going to give out the information to the other group members. And then I want your group's opinion on the issue. So do you think gun control should be limited? Do you think the healthcare should be mandatory, et cetera, et cetera? Okay, so do you guys have any questions before we go out to the hallway? Yeah? Okay, anybody else? All right, let me put you in groups and then we'll go outside, okay? Tables 1, the Psalms 2, 3, 14A, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. Okay?
And I will add one thing, if you have money for making the shirt, if you'll stay right there for just a quick hot minute, you can see in the hallway. So everybody else around the hallway, if you got money, come on over here.
I'm bringing markers out for everybody.
I was gonna come back to that.
It's all right. It's all right. I went ahead and put in an order and I didn't want to. All right, let me get some money for Tino. Fortified Tino. You got a long sleeve?
Let's be with you here. You already ordered them?
You guys see me, I didn't need you. Again, I got you. That's when they be stupid.
Two sacks. We're the same for the breakfast. Six. Stop breaking.
Okay, do you want the hoodie or do you want the long sleeve? Because you gave me 15, the long sleeve is 15. Wait a minute, you got a long sleeve, I'm sorry. I'm looking at a manual. Yeah, okay, yeah, you good, you got it, you got it. You got it. That's what I'm having to get you. Thank you. Alright. Whew, here we go, Mr. Jonathan. Jonathan, give me your list. Turpentine, right?
The Ninth Amendment.
Alright, but we even with up there.
Okay, let's do what's your name?
You can't take away your right marijuana and stuff like that.
So somebody up here tell me what y'all are doing.
Okay, right now we're reading this these articles. So then we're gonna write something. We're gonna write a question up here.
Okay. What's the issue about healthcare?
That some people, you know, they don't want healthcare, so they're wondering if they should. Why would they pay for healthcare if they don't want it? And
Okay.
then if you don't pay for it, you're gonna get taxed.
So the government's making everybody have it?
Yeah.
And if you don't pay it, you'll have a tax?
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
I don't think they should do that.
Is it necessary for everybody to have healthcare?
I think
Yeah, it's necessary.
I mean, but not if everybody.
Because some
don't
people
want it.
like get sick or something.
What happens if people don't get healthcare?
They might.
They gonna have to pay everybody.
And then what happens to my price of my healthcare if I'm paying for everybody else?
Here we go.
Then my price goes up. So the question is, to make everybody's price go down, should the government force everybody to get healthcare?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, yeah, y'all definitely can have that discussion. So, yeah, go ahead and then you guys can start writing some stuff. All right?
people all their bills. They got time to pay for it.
Find somewhere else to put it? Is it to the, what does it say? Is it to the?
Does it benefit the people? How you feel?
Yeah.
Why you say it's wrong?
Or you could just say what people benefit from.
Yeah.